University of Wisconsin lacrosse political science professor Joe Heim joins us with an in-depth look at the numbers. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Obviously a change. Is this simply the population that's been surveyed? Is it the debate from Friday? Is it the ads? Why the change?
Well, you could say it's both within a margin of error and it's all kind of a wash. When you say plus or minus 4%, that could mean it's acceptable to go either direction. So technically speaking, it was the 50 to 45 2 weeks ago was a tie technically. And so it is now. It does seem to suggest, however, that the governor's lost a little momentum as a result of maybe the debate. Not really sure. Maybe Mary Burke may have reinforced the fact that people wanted to vote for her. A lot of people didn't know who she was. So they saw her last Friday, and I think maybe at least a few of them, we're talking about such small numbers here, that they may have decided she's okay.
So maybe the bigger story are within those numbers, like the undecided voters. We're seeing a shift there. There was a 13-point difference from 2 weeks ago. Now Burke is up by 1. That's kind of a significant number within the undecided.
Yeah, I thought that was very unusual. That kind of a drop-off. That possibly could be the debates, but possibly maybe the ads of the last week or two have reassured them that maybe Mary Burke is okay. I don't think it's necessarily a real significant shift, but it implies that there's still, by the way, about 11% undecided. Independents, in other words, are more amongst the undecideds. They are far more undecided than, say, partisan people, basically.
And let's talk about men and women. You were on a couple of weeks ago and we talked about this.
Yeah.
And there was a pretty large gap. A lot of men were favoring Walker, a lot of females favoring Burke, and there was a huge gender gap. That has closed significantly in this latest poll.
I can understand the female part of it. Governor Walker has been running a number of ads. NRA is running an ad. There's an abortion ad. There's one that he talks about his role in position on abortion. And he's got another one having to do with, I think it's domestic violence, that a woman says you could trust Governor Walker. It's clear he was intending to try to narrow that female gap. What's strange is, and I don't have a good explanation for it, as to why the male gap was 24 points in favor of Walker. Now it's dropped to almost 2 points. That might be an issue of the polling itself, and just they may have sampled oversampled a certain type of people. That's always possible.
So when we do these polls, you know, how true are they to the real outcome of the race? Is this just kind of...
Well, I'll tell you, I trust the Marquette poll. They have been historically amongst the most accurate. Even though maybe there's a margin of error of 4%, historically they've been very close to the way the results are. When it's all said and done, our polling is a snapshot in time. People can change their minds. So, although frankly in this particular race, changing your mind between Walker and Burke doesn't seem terribly likely. I think people are pretty well nailed in on this one. But generally they can change their mind on it, and some people do, frankly.
Have you seen anything favorable come out of this for Walker and for Burke from the debate?
Glad you mentioned that. Yeah. I'll mention just a couple things. For Governor Walker, he gets very high ratings for getting things done. He gets a very high rating for the state budget, gets a very high rating for the approved economy. So in other words, he's got some things that are very positive in the debate, in the poll itself. Mary Burke cares more about people like me. So people see her as more empathetic, basically, to them. She's in favor of the state accepting Medicare money. The majority of the people favor Medicare money. So basically, there's some things in polls that are positive for both of them. The public, obviously, is saying he's positive about Walker, positive about Burke. They have to decide where they're going to go.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. We're out of time already.
Okay,
so
thank
you so much.